everybody, I'm Elsie Macabre, and I'm surrounded here with some wonderful Macabreites this Sunday evening, and we're all preparing for Season 3's premiere of The Walking Dead. So we figured we'd all hang out here and maybe talk a little bit about what's been going on with The Walking Dead, get everybody's feelings as to what's going to be happening, what has already happened, how they feel about everything that's already happened. So over here we have the lovely Kelly, we have over here the lovely Babs, we have here Miss Jacki, we have over there Jaypoc, and we have, everybody knows, Adam. So, and you'll see the dogs kind of, you know, creeping around every so often. Don't worry, they're not zombified, so we're good. So anyway, guys, so as we all know, we're waiting for the season premiere of Walking Dead, and we're up to like the mid part of Season 3, right? So it's not that it's the beginning of Season 3, we're midway into Season 3, right?
It's the mid-season premiere. Mid-season
premiere, thank you. So I know we're all excited because I believe Merle and Daryl are going to be duking it out in that, you know, the arena thing where Governor is. And I don't know about you guys, but you know, let's pick up from where we left off with the ending of the season there. I'm kind of feeling bad for Merle right now, where normally I was kind of ready for Merle to just get killed, right? I was kind of done with him. But I feel bad that he has to confront his brother, and I'm not looking forward to something happening to Merle.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen that way.
Okay, what do you think is going to happen there, Kel?
Well, as we saw from some of the teasers, there's going to be gas, and I think Rick's going to come in and grab both of them. I think the real question is, can they trust Merle enough to bring him into the group? So is Merle and Daryl coming in because they saved him? What's that dynamic going to be? Like, is the group going to be able to trust Merle and vice versa? Is Merle going to be able to forgive Rick for what happened on that rooftop?
Oh, that's really interesting. So you're saying that Merle's going to end up becoming part of the family because of circumstance, but I would imagine, you know, everybody's going to be on pins and needles wondering if they can trust Merle, as you just said. So you don't think Merle's going to, like, give Daryl a beatdown right now?
Oh, I think there's definitely going to be a beatdown. And, you know, there's always a possibility that one doesn't make it. And, you know what? I don't know is that Daryl, everyone loves Daryl, so I don't think it's going to be him.
So if somebody goes down, it's not Daryl?
That's right.
Anybody else?
I think if they both survive, Merle will never be trusted. The only person he's ever cared about was his brother. And he just can't be trusted.
I agree. I don't think he can be trusted.
But will Daryl leave with him? Or will Daryl stay with the bonds that he made with his family?
I think down the road,
he'll stay.
it's going to cause enough tension that they're both going to wind up having to either be expelled from the group or
oh, that's an
something's
interesting
gonna
point.
happen.
So you think there's a possibility that they may both get kicked out of the family because, basically because Daryl may be conflicted in choosing between Merle or his new family. That's really interesting. I didn't think about that.
I think he's going to pretend to like present as trustworthy.
Merle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then after a while, he's just gonna, you know, like there's gonna be like a coup. Like
it's gonna be
Merle
another
the
Shane.
coup.
Yeah. It's gonna be another Shane.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay. Okay. So, what, a power struggle? Huh. So, you know, being that, you know, we're kind of guessing that eventually Merle may get brought into the family. Just so that we all know and all of our viewers know, none of us have read the comic book, right? None of us have read the comic book.
I have.
You have? Oh.
But only the first 2 books.
I didn't know.
Which
Okay.
are the first season.
Okay. Well, I know I haven't seen or actually read any of the comic books, and nor do I want to, and I know there have been some people that have been wanting to kind of cheat and write some stuff on my Facebook wall. And I pretty much just deleted them permanently because I didn't want them to mess up any of my stuff. And yeah, you know, going to spoilers, I gotta tell you, if you're gonna post something on Facebook, you should really be considerate to those of us who have been looking forward to a show on TV and we're running home to come and catch it. When you're gonna post something on Facebook, can you please put a disclaimer that says warning a few times over, spoiler ahead, that way I don't read it. I gotta tell you, I think somebody posted something, I'm not gonna say what it was, but it totally gave away the entire episode, and I was so upset. That's terrible!
He was dead the whole time.
He was dead the whole time!
It was a dream!
It was a dream!
Oh man! But, now, what about, so if
I want to say something about the comic books.
Yeah,
I read
okay.
the first 2 comic books, and that was season 1. And for the most part, they were going side by side, and they were pretty darn accurate to the comic book. But then it started veering. Certain things were happening in the TV show that didn't happen that way in the comic book. Though they might have gotten to the same ending, they took a different trick. So even if you read the comic book, it doesn't mean that when they adapt it to the TV show, it's going to work that way. Because Shay was, spoiler, Shay was killed off, like, way before this ever happened.
Oh, okay.
So it's something to think about, like, you know, all because that you read a comic book doesn't mean that that's the way the TV show is going to go. And remember, the comic book didn't have Daryl as such a predominant figure. It's because of the show and the followers loved Daryl that his character grew so much.
All right, so what's the deal with Daryl? I mean, seriously.
We love him.
Really? Why? I mean, what is so? No, in all seriousness, because I got to be honest. I mean, I like Daryl. Don't get me wrong. And Daryl is most certainly welcome to come to the Macabre Faire at any given time. You know, we love you. We'll accept you there. But we're just talking about the character that Daryl plays. What is the big deal?
I became much more fond of Daryl after the whole Sophia thing happened.
Yes.
When he became so concerned with finding Sophia, it was really endearing that he finally found something he cared enough about to become part of the group. And that's one of the reasons why I think now with his connection to Sophia's mother, who I believe is Carol,
Yes.
I don't think he would leave that easily, because I think he really feels strongly for her. Not in a relationship type of way, but because of what he felt for Sophia.
Well, I think there is a connection there, be it a relationship or a camaraderie for what they've gone through, but I don't think there was a special bond between him and Carol.
You think we'll see something physical happen between them two?
Possibly. I don't know.
Are we like, you remember when the X-Files first started, well, not first started, but for a few seasons, and how long did everybody just like waited for Scully and Mulder to like kiss and lock, and it's like, just do it, just do it,
And it came so close every once in a while.
right? It was like,
It's like
and then
moonlighting.
it was terrible. And then, but you know what though? I think it finally does happen like after season 15. And I think that after that point, people felt like, okay, it finally happened. You know what I mean? So they kept us cliffhanging. All right, so now going.
Oh, Daryl. Going back to what you said about Daryl. I think it's the whole bad boy reputation. I mean, the motorcycle, the jacket, the attitude, and then you discover there's a softer, you know, more caring side. And
There's like
everything,
it's like layered.
everything about
Very
when he
layered.
held that baby. It
Oh,
was the bad boy turned domestic, you know, good, caring. I think everybody fell in love with
what is it that he said when he held the baby?
Little ass kicker.
Little ass kicker. I mean, I think everybody posted on Facebook, like, they were actually putting a post in it, little ass kicker, and I'm thinking, okay. And the women were just dropping their panties
That's right.
over little ass kicker. And I'm thinking, okay, guys, it wasn't that serious. But anyway, whatever.
It was.
So, apparently it was. Hell, you know, what do I know? I did not drop my panties, just so you know. But, you know, so going back to, you know, potentially they're bringing in Merle, we shall see. What is everybody's take on the whole Michonne character? Everybody knows Michonne, the serious ass kicker. Is it Michonne or Michonne? Michonne? Oh, Michonne. I'm sorry.
It's French.
It's French for Michonne. Okay. All right. Oh, wait. What do you think about Miss and Michonne?
I like her. She rocks.
Why does she rock?
Why?
Because she just kicks ass?
Well, that too. Because she has this caring side. It developed a big trust between her and Andrea throughout the thing. She still stuck by her. She still tried to prove, you know, Andrea that things weren't where it seemed. She delivered the formula back to the jail.
The baby formula.
Right. So I think she
Almost
has.
losing her life in the process.
Right. I think she has a really good, strong character, and it's a good character. Like she might be a badass. It's just trust, but I think she'd be a great asset to the team.
You know, when it comes to Michonne, I have mixed feelings about her. I feel like, and I was telling Jackie this earlier today, I just feel like she's so badass that I can't help but wonder what's the rest of her backstory.
Right.
I want to know why she is such a badass. Okay, I know people can say, well, hello, she's fighting off zombies, and blah, blah. I got that. but so is this entire group. You got
Right.
Glenn, you had Lori, Andrea. They're all fighting, but this chick
I have
just
two
comes
questions.
out of nowhere with freaking swords and just wants to. She's got this big chip on her shoulder. Why?
I think she's overly confident. I
It's
think
too
that's
much.
gonna be her downfall.
Well,
Yes.
No, I think it's one, I would love to know where she learned her martial skills. And two, they said it in the last episode was, those were her pets, and it seemed like she knew them. So you have to try to think of maybe her,
Right,
her
and since she
family
had to
members.
kill them, she hasn't taken new ones, which also
Right,
leads you to
true.
believe why. Why were those two so special?
Right, and that's what they said in the last episode.
Mm.
So you have to think, maybe she's gone through and seen her family perish under this, and that's how she developed and became who she is. But I think she's also self-serving. So she might be good and try to help, but I
Well,
think the
that's
number
one
one
thing.
is
I
her.
think there might be a backstory between why she decided to bring Babe
I'd like
Formula back.
to see
Because
Right.
that was a big risk. There had to be something more in it
She
for
might have like
her.
lost her own child.
Whether
at
or not,
one
well,
time.
or maybe it was just a self-preservation thing. She has nowhere else to go now. She knows that these people are holed up in the jail, and that's her best chance of survival.
Peace offering.
And she's heard all about them from Andrea, so she knows what they're like.
You know, I thought about that. If she heard so much about Andrea, why didn't she make the connection sooner? I mean, Andrea said, I told you everything about me. So once she started hearing these names, like Daryl and Glenn and Maggie, why didn't she make that connection sooner? Like, it just seemed weird that it took that long for her to realize that.
Right.
It wasn't written in the script yet.
Oh, that's right.
That's why.
Alright, good point.
Yeah.
Point to Babs.
Mhm. Thank you.
I don't know. I'm curious to find out what the backstory is. You know, she just came out of nowhere. I know she had these pets. I didn't really make the connection that these pets must have had some kind of deeper meaning to her, other than the fact that their bottom jaw was removed. So, you know,
Like
they,
things
you
like
know,
that.
exactly, and they were on chains. So remember, when you remove the bottom jaw, they eventually lose their appetite and all that sort of thing. So they also lose their desire to
Right.
be so violent. So I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about that. But you know, now we see that there's an evolution going on now with the little guy, Carl. You know, Carl's a big boy now, and it kind of looks like he's falling for Herschel's younger daughter.
Right.
What is the name? I've got my little cheat sheet here because I have.
passed away.
I'm
It's
not really
Maggie
sure.
and
Well, Maggie and Glenn, we already know Maggie. By the way, with Maggie, didn't like her when I first saw her. I'm not gonna lie.
she came off a little bit bitchy.
Right.
Yeah,
She just
she
came
was
off a little
yeah.
bit like, bitch, you need to chill.
She was really standoffish.
Very much
Very
so.
standoffish.
But you know what? She grew on me,
Mhm.
and I gotta tell you, I'm really hoping that I do not lose Glenn or Maggie. They
Yes.
happen to be
I
two of
like
my
the two of them.
favorite characters. And what's really interesting is that they're not your main characters.
Right.
Right.
Any other females notice how great Glenn looks shirtless?
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry. I know
I
he's
just
getting the
noticed,
shit
I'm
together.
sorry.
I'm sorry, but I had to appreciate the
Yeah.
physique.
Neck
And
down is
neck-
always,
I was,
yeah.
I was,
Yeah,
I was
neck
very, I was very surprised, and I appreciate that view.
Very cool. Well, I love Glenn. I think he's probably one of the bravest ones of
Yeah.
the entire group.
Yes.
He has
He's
subjected
very,
himself.
he's just very
to so much.
selfless.
He really is.
And I
And,
think
and
he's really come to his own this season. Like he's really
absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, when he got that beat down,
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I loved you before. I love you even more now. That was
And I
pretty
think in the
badass.
beginning, everyone saw him as sort of a weaker character. He was
Right.
the younger guy. He was
Right.
almost a little bit
He was a kid.
nerdy,
Right.
and
Naive.
you know he was the cat who was always scampering through alleys and
Like an
he
underdog kind of
Right.
thing.
He
Yeah.
seemed very sly and clever, and nobody really saw him as this hero. But he really has become an integral part of their team, and
Absolutely.
they need him.
Well,
And I think he's one of the backbones of that team, so I would hate to lose him.
oh yeah, I really don't want to lose him. He's sweet. He's bold. He's actually much stronger than anyone has given him credit for. So with that said, just out of all the people that we've lost, and we've lost a lot of them, starting with Jaypoc, who do you miss the most so far out of everyone who's died?
Oh, that's a tough call.
Should we skip and come back to you?
Skip and come back.
All right, Jackie,
I
is
have
there
to
any?
think about that
And
one.
maybe there's no. Maybe you're feeling like, thank goodness that they're the ones that died are dead. I don't know. Jackie, what about you? Do you miss anybody a
I
lot?
don't really know if I miss anyone that much. All of my
Okay.
favorite characters are still around, so
fair enough. Maybe it means that the ones that you love are still there, so you're good. Right?
Yeah.
You mean that. All right.
I
Babs?
completely agree with Jackie.
Okay, all right,
Completely
so
agree with
for you,
Jackie.
all right. I would have to say for myself, I'm truthfully, I missed Dale.
Yep.
I really do miss Dale. Yeah, he was a very, heavy duty, very important character, and so people may say, well, of course you're going to miss Dale. He was important. No, there was just something very, very beautiful about him. He just cared about life so much. He really cared about everybody. He cared about everybody's happiness. He cared too much for Andrea. I feel like they should have swapped places, but what do I know, right? Andrea's just getting on my nerves, and now she's with this governor.
Oh,
yes.
Right? Should we even go there? I mean, hello, Andrea, like, get with the program.
What I find crazy is that she stayed. All right, so you crashed in, and you saw all the heads in the fish bowls, and
the daughter,
dead zombie daughter, and you're like, oh, you okay? Let me comfort you. What the? What?
Yeah, that's insane. And I've not read the comic books, but from what I heard about the comic books, Andrea's character is actually much younger in the comic books.
I think so. She wasn't, the first season, she wasn't a main character. So.
Right, and I heard that her story is drastically different than the comic books, but maybe I was just hearing
It
wrong.
could be, that I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we'll leave that with the comic
Right.
books. We're not going to reveal anything. But yeah, I think that, as far as Andrea goes, honestly, I think that the turning point for me with Andrea was when she was in the car with Shane and she grabbed him by the crotch. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, it's at the downfall.
Like when I saw her do that, there was just this thing about her that I just felt like you're such a... I can't call her a slut because it's not like she's screwing everybody. So I can't call her a whore either, right? I can't do any of those things.
Conniving bitch.
Is that what it is?
Well, I think she changed. I think something in her snapped when her sister died. Because I liked her before her sister was killed off.
Yeah, but if you remember, she even had the gun in front of Rick's face when Rick first came to the group, and she was just like, we should relax, bitch. Just relax. Just my feeling on Andrea.
I'll go back
hoping it changes.
To Dale. Dale was like the humanity of the group.
Yes.
I know he was a part of,
Right.
and when you look at it, like, philosophically, it's when you lost Dale, they kind of lost a piece of their humanity at that point.
But in a way, in a world like that, you can't be that rock solid. He was almost too dead set in his ways, where there were certain calls that needed to be made for the safety of the group, and he was against it, and that was a bad thing.
That's a good point. I can see that. I still miss him.
Yeah.
I miss him too. He was a great character.
I'm happy Herschel survived.
Yes.
I do love Herschel.
I love Herschel.
That was a
would
big
have been
thing.
my answer had things gone differently.
Yeah. The Herschel's great, and I think it's fantastic when that he's finally like let the guard down, and him and Glenn talk now, and he understands that everybody is a family, and that's just what it is.
The pocket watch.
Yeah, there's just a lot of really awesome moments in the entire show. I miss Shane.
Really?
But I miss Shane before he became a douchebag.
Oh.
Shane became amazing.
Shane was fun. Shane was fun.
I was okay with that.
He was fun. I just, he just got so out of control that it was about, he became a cancer. And it was just time to let him go.
So,
Cancer's
one
a power
of
trip.
my questions about Shane was that, Rick takes him out, has a talk with him, everything is moving forward, everything's settled. But then Lori goes and has another talk with Shane, and was just like, oh, I'm sorry, and, kind of like mending their fences. Do you think that's what, like, really triggered him to bring out Rick and be like, you know what, this is it, it's going to be the end of us, and I'm going to take you out and shoot you? Do you think that spurned him into doing that?
I would have to say that there were many times that Lori played both sides of the fence and kind of sort of, I don't want to say gave Shane so much the hopes that they can go back to the way it was, but never exactly closed the window either. Mm-hmm. It kind of stayed open, and I think we would all agree that it hasn't even really been 100% proven that baby is Rick's.
Right.
I mean, the time frame is very close.
Yeah, and that's
and we
something
may
you
never
probably
find
will
out.
never know.
Right, and I wonder if they did that on purpose, like they didn't want us to know, so that we don't, I don't know, maybe so that we don't hate the baby. I don't know, could be.
Keep us wondering.
Keep us wondering, right? But I gotta be honest with you. I know this is gonna sound terrible, viewers. I know. But when the zombie was sitting there with the pot belly, and I knew that Lori was in it, I was okay with that. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
I know it sounds morbid, but Lori was getting on my damn nerves.
I got very tired of Lori very quickly. I felt like she just kind of took the easy way out of everything, and she never really worked for what she wanted. She got so used to having Shane in her life that when Rick came back, and I'm sure it was devastating, thinking that your husband was dead and you turned to his best friend for support and everything, and I get that, but if that had been me in that situation and my husband came back from the dead, I think I would have immediately gone to the other person and said, look, like, everything that we did, it wasn't a mistake, but it ends now because my husband is alive and I love him.
She did do that.
But she didn't stick to it.
No, she didn't.
I think when you've been through everything that had gone on, you know, with survival and having to, you know, every day you don't know if you're going to live, that really there's almost like a bond that forms as a result of that.
But a bond with who? You say that she formed this bond with Shane?
Yes.
And it was a bond that she just couldn't, like, ignore?
Shane, exactly.
It was just, okay, I mean, I can see that, but, you know, in the same breath, I think that, again, I think Lori did have a lot to do with eventually what happened at the end with Shane going bye-byes. But in the same breath, I don't know about you guys, but did you guys get the impression that Shane, in a sense, has always secretly been in love with Lori, even from the very
absolutely.
Oh,
and I think that was part of the problem. I think Shane latched on to Lori and he wasn't ready to let her go. And the right thing for him to have done when Rick came back would have been to leave.
Well, wait a minute, let's think about this. Go back to like the first season, first episode. Wasn't there a clip when Lori was at the school and it was Shane who came by and you kind of saw this glance from Shane to Lori that kind of gave you the idea that he wanted her before?
Or maybe that something was already going,
Exactly.
or already had already happened.
Yes, maybe there's something.
Don't you remember that? Like
I
she
do
was in
remember
the
that.
schoolyard.
It sort of always felt like Shane was in love with Lori before Lori and Rick got together, and Rick won. So Shane was always a little bit jealous to begin with, and it was like, well, he was the better man, he won, he was my best friend, but then once he was gone, you know, it was no holds barred.
Right. I can see that. And just for your viewers, I know that we had Adam sitting over here, and now we have a new sit-in. This lovely little girl is my puppy, Amber Sunshine. And I'm not really sure if the camera's catching the other one that's over here sucking away on his beaver.
I bet you said
But that really is what he's doing. He's sucking on his toy beaver. But anyway, yeah, Adam had to leave us for a little bit, but we're still talking Walking Dead here. I hope you're all enjoying what we're discussing here. As you can see, we're all just chillaxing and enjoying some grapes and some chips and whatever we have in these cups, which will
cupcakes.
And we just, you know, we are a group that loves The Walking Dead. I know that quite a few of us, we don't even really watch regular TV, but when Walking Dead started, we found ourselves just hooked. It definitely helps that we love zombies and we love horror, so yeah, that helps. But let's be honest, The Walking Dead has just been a phenomenon, and it has definitely captured a lot of us, including us here, and to the point that we even wanted to take some time and just kind of talk to people and just get a real, you know, down and out, homely conversation going about The Walking Dead and kind of getting everybody's perspective. If you haven't already started watching The Walking Dead, you know, all I can really tell you is at least give it a try. Definitely watch at least 1 and 2 episodes of season 1. We will tell you, and I think you will all agree, that season number 2 really focused a lot on character development.
Yes.
So, you know, jumping into season 2 may not be the right thing to do. You may find it just a little bit maybe boring to you because you don't understand these characters. So you're not interested in the development because you haven't already seen what has happened prior to the build-up now. So don't start with season 2. Definitely go to season 1 and give it a shot. If it turns out by season 1 and 2 you still don't really like the show, then honestly, I can't win you over. But for those of us who have watched all the episodes or have at least watched a couple of episodes and found yourself loving it, you can definitely go to Netflix. I think season 1 and 2 are on there. I think there's like 19 episodes or something like that. So you can definitely catch up. You will notice that on AMC, it starts every Sunday at 9 p.m. and then there's an encore presentation at 10 o'clock. Then I think at 11 o'clock there's Talking Dead, right? And then I think at midnight there's an encore presentation again, if I'm not mistaken. So it goes on and on and on, which is really awesome for a lot of us who can't make it home by 9 p.m. to watch it. But with that said, anything else you want to talk about?
Back to Shane and Rick, and spoiler for people that are not up to season 2. We find out later on that Shane knew that Rick was alive when he left the hospital.
Right.
So what are our feelings on that? Do we think that he left him truly because he felt like he could only save himself? Or do we think that was just a little bit of, this is my chance to get with Laura?
I agree.
think it was my
Yeah,
chance.
yeah, ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
That's a big ding ding ding, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming, we're still assuming, guys, but I would say that was a good call on
I
that.
have a question.
Yeah.
Who's watching Carl throughout the whole first season? I mean, and second season? Because really, I mean, this kid disappears more. Now, if there's walkers out there, there should be a 24-hour, where's my son? And here's Lori having conversations, out with Shane, out with Rick, out with whoever. And we're like, where's Carl? Why is Carl always gone?
I think Dale really was the one watching over him most of the time. You know, you would notice that they actually, I believe they said it in one episode that Lori actually said to Carl, you have to stay within Dale's sight. That he wasn't allowed to stray too far from the camper.
There you go.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
I
I think unfortunately Dale was left as the caretaker, that he was responsible.
Speaking of kids, how heart-wrenching was it to end season 2 with Sophia?
Yes.
Yeah. Was that painful or what? Did you know she was a zombie already?
I didn't know, but
Were you hoping? Were you hoping?
Hoping isn't the right
I
word.
was really
Alright.
hoping she was alive.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I didn't,
You.
I wasn't sure. Honestly, I didn't know if she was going to be a zombie or not. I just didn't know. So I would have to say that the ending of season 2 definitely surprised me. I wasn't
Did
expecting
you
it.
feel so strongly when she killed Penny, when Sean killed Penny? Were you attached to this child?
Not at all.
The zombie child.
Yeah.
But you
Well,
know
that's
why?
nothing,
But
though.
you know why? Because that's the governor's daughter, and we already
Well,
hate the governor.
right.
So
And there was no knowing her when she was human.
Right.
It was different for Sophia.
right,
You had that gut wrenching, oh my god.
right.
And I actually had a friend call it before everything happened. When they first found out that all the zombies were in the barn, my friend said to me, that girl's gonna be in there. And I said, no, she's not. No, she can't.
That's
And,
interesting.
and she was, and I was devastated.
Yeah, I felt awful about that.
And that's the thing about getting connected to characters in the show, because you really don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen.
And that's what I love about this show. And this is why I don't read the comic books. Although I'm not going to lie, I was tempted to buy them for Christmas. I'm not lying. But I think I'm going to wait and watch some more before I go and start reading the books.
This is the best part of like one of the last episodes of before the break was when the jail inmate is asking Carol, "Well, aren't you a lesbian?"
Oh,
She's
yeah.
like, "No, you're not."
For everyone who's watching what Miss Kelly is talking about, we are watching The Walking Dead as we're talking. We're watching the
marathon.
repeats, the marathon before we actually see the premiere. And as we all know, Rick and his team are all at the jail. And there are a couple of inmates that they've pretty much kind of sort of just started to let in to the group. And there's one of them who has who would seem to have a rather perverted side, and Carol kind of approaches him about it, and he basically lets her know that the whole time he thought maybe she was a lesbian, so that's why he didn't really hit on her. But once she revealed that she wasn't a lesbian, his eyes just kind of opened up like, hey now, out, more to play with. So anyway, so you know, we lost quite a few characters. We lost T-Dog. Anybody miss T-Dog? Does everybody remember T-Dog?
I remember T-Dog.
Yeah, you know, I miss him, you know.
I felt like his character never really got developed enough for me to miss him.
Yeah.
True story. I would agree with you. I think I just, he did get very quiet towards the end. And then, like, I think the episode before the episode that he dies is when he talked just a little bit more. It was kind of like, let's make sure you're still feeling for him so that when we kill him off, we want you to shed at least one tear.
Yes.
Did everybody think Carol was dead?
No.
No.
Really? I thought she was dead.
I
No,
thought she was
because
dead
I
too.
saw her run. Because they wouldn't sacrifice T-Dog.
Well, they
to
show
kill Carol.
right. They show her watching him get killed, and then she runs. So
And then they never showed anything else.
right.
Right.
Did anyone else suspect that it was her in that jail cell when Daryl was walking
Not
around?
at first.
No.
I thought she was dead. So.
Yeah, I would have never, I didn't. But then again, you know what it is too? When I'm watching the episodes, I have no expectations, like in the sense that, I mean, yeah, I expect to be delighted, which I always am. But what I mean by that is, I don't watch it and already start predicting what's going to happen, because I want to let it's kind of like a roller coaster ride, just like, take me where you're going to take me. I'm just going to hold on for the ride, and I'm even going to close my eyes so that I don't see the big loop coming. You know what I mean? That's how I watch it. So I'm just like, take me for the ride, and it hasn't failed me. It's been pretty cool. You know, one of the characters that died much earlier, I forget what his name is. Do you remember in season 1, when the horde of zombies came into the town, into their little hillside area, and there was the tall guy that had the dream prior. He didn't have a son, I don't think. He was by
You're thinking
himself.
of the guy that Rick met in the house.
Right.
No. And he one day he woke up and he was just like digging all these graves, and they asked him, you know, what are you doing? And he says, I had a dream. And then it turns out that the attack happens that night, and that's when Laurie's sister dies.
Yes.
I forget what his name is, and then remember that he started getting the fever in the trailer.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But he was
He
big.
was an older man.
Yes.
Yes.
Not too
I
old,
remember.
but yes.
Yes.
Was he one of the inmates? Or?
He was not one. No, this was
This
season
was
one.
season 1.
And you have to forgive me, guys, for
He
forgetting
was
his
always
name.
hanging out with Dale. He was
Yes.
like one of Dale's best friends.
Yes, and he was very tall.
Yes.
Well, anyway, I honestly have to say that I was disappointed when he left the group, because I really felt like he was strong, and I started attaching myself to him. So when we lost him, there's quite a few people that we lost that I have to honestly say I missed them. Dale, of course, being number 1. Actually, I went to Monster Mania, and I saw Glenn over there. So that was really cool. I saw
with his shirt on, right?
he had he had this powder blue shirt on with these cute straight leg black pants, and they were kind of like cuffed up, and he wasn't wearing any socks, and some cute little black shoes, just like so preppy, you know. He was, and his little black glasses. He was really cute. He was really busy too. And then Norman Reedus was there.
Yeah.
And Laurie's sister, the one that died, was there. Again,
You mean Andrea's sister?
Andrea's sister, yes. What did I say?
Lori.
Laurie's, no, not Laurie. Laurie's gone, bye-byes. So anyway, it was really cool to check them out in person. It's so funny how they look different when you see them in person. It's so funny. Well, anyway, guys, we're going to be getting ready for the season premiere of The Walking Dead. I think we have probably like about another 40 minutes or so. So we're going to kind of clean up our little mess, because we had our little chicken dinner and pasta and all that good stuff. So we hope that you all enjoy the rest of season 3, and make sure that you stick around and maybe catch another one of these sessions. That would be really fun. So this is Elsie Macabre and the Macabrites who love The Walking Dead, and we'll see you all next time. Therefore, I think it's time for us to say bye-byes. Bye, everybody.